What's poppin' T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, and I'm here with tonight's All Tea, All Shade, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 13, Episode 14 review. Okay, so on tonight's episode, Kenya meets with Marlo and Fallyn at Marlo's new showroom where she'll be renting out her designer clothes. Kenya in her confessional says this is more her speed, more than that wig business she claimed she was starting last season. I personally think this is a genius idea for Marlo. Atlanta is the epicenter for filming movies and reality shows and television shows. Why not rent out your things to these girls that do these reality shows? They need stuff to wear on the show for their confessionals. You know, the first couple of seasons, you really can't afford, designer does, but you want to look your best. Why not rent pieces, give it back, and you look good on the show, stunting and fronting? She could also lend her fashions out to like different movie sets, for costumes and things of that nature. I think this is a genius idea, and I hope that it takes off for her. So Fallyn tells Kenya that she's having a Halloween party that'll be just for the girls at her home. So Kenya says that she's going to come. Fallyn ends up leaving. Kenya says that she wants to rent some of the stuff from Marlo to show support. Kenya also says, I would be scared to rent to some of these girls with those wops. And then she goes into the whole conversation about the trip and Bolo and everything. And she says, I can't believe what happened. And Marlo was like, if it did happen, maybe it was the TV. Like, she's not trying to go there with the conversation. And Kenya's like, Marlo, really, girl, like, what happened. Like, stop it. So Marlo in her confessional says, is Kenya being sincere? Does she really want to make up with me? I don't know. I think that she does want to make up with Marlo, because if she didn't, she wouldn't, and they needed to squash that beef. It's not like she went seeking Marlo's friendship. Marlo came to her. It's not like she's on some, let me go try to befriend her so I can have allies. That's not the case. She was willing to, continue to ride with the two people that were her friends, Cynthia and Kenya. So I don't think that this is anything disingenuous on Kenya's end. So Marlo says, what's going on with Toya? Her husband came up, and then she was like, Kenya filed for divorce and Mark wants alimony. That turned me off of her. And so Kenya, her confessional says, this isn't the first time Toya has betrayed my trust. Kenya was like, I'm not here for the fake stuff. I'm happy we can talk. I did miss you. They take the picture together that we saw during fall last year when we found out that they had, got back cool again. And you could tell that Kenya felt some type of way when Marlo told her what Toya had did. Because I would have been feeling some type of way too. So Drew is at home with her mom. She says that, her agent set her up something in New Orleans for a job, and she wants to invite the girls for another girls trip. So she also wants to meet more of her mom's side of the family. Drew's wig looks so good in this scene. I was like, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. She finally got a good hairstyle. The wig was laid beautifully. The hair looked good. Even her baby hairs was great. Everything looked good. So proud of her. So we learned that Drew's mom was adopted because they were having a conversation about their family tree. And her mother makes a statement that her grandfather's father was white. And she was like, are we talking about your real father or your adoptive father? And that's when we learned that her mom was adopted, but the mother does not look at her biological parents as her parents. She looks at her adoptive parents as her parents. She says that they're her DNA. And that's cute on paper, and to say, but it's not what it is. But it's cute to think that way. Okay. So Drew also tells us that her son's father has been reaching out. Ralph adopted her son, and I believe she said her son has some disabilities, like I forgot what she said it was, but yeah, she said that Ralph adopted her son, which was a beautiful thing. And I know that would have to be hard for any mom, for the dad to try to come back into the child's life after not being present. I myself had to go through that with Kyrese. So that is difficult, not only on the mom, but the child as well, because it's like, you've been gone. Now you want to come interrupt this child's life. And we don't know if this is just something to make you feel better for the moment. And then when you get sick of it, you going to go on about your way. And then I have to pick up the pieces when you're gone again. So it is a lot to stress about, because you want to protect your children at all costs and you don't want to see them hurt. So we find out Candy got a role in a new movie titled Envy, and she needs to get back in shape. We also know that she is resuming her role on The Shy for the next coming season. So good looking out to Candy for, doing this acting thing. I thought she did a great job on The Shy. So Mike and Cynthia go out to lunch, and Mike says Cynthia vows took like 8 or 9 minutes. Now, mind you, all we saw on the show last week was like, she was like, nigga, I love you. That's all you need to know. It was like so ghetto. So that was the part of the reason why I said their vows sucked. But they end up showing us more footage, and it was all over the place still. So her vows still to be sucked, but they were longer than what we were shown. So Mike says that he wants to buy a home together in Atlanta, and that she can keep Lake Bailey and he'll keep their house in LA, but he wants them to get a house together in Atlanta because he likes Atlanta. And I think that's a good, idea. Because I don't really see this marriage lasting. I give Cynthia and Mike a good maybe 5 more years. Because it's hard for me to believe he able to put that dick up now all of a sudden. So, and then the fact that he told her, like, you keep your house, I'm gonna keep my house, and we just get something together. I don't even think he know. I don't even think he think this shit gonna last that long. So, yeah, that's a cute idea for them. So, Drew calls in the middle of their conversation, and she tells Cynthia about the trip and says that she's gonna get them a private jet, and she's gonna show Kenya how to host a trip. And I was like, this trip better be the bee's knees, honey. Even though, once again, she's literally just the host for television's sake. She didn't really put this thing together. The show did. So Drew talks to Ralph about Josiah dad calling, and she says they need to talk to him about it, and she gets emotional and starts to cry. Ralph is the only dad that her son, has known his entire life. So we find out that his father went to jail when he was a baby, and that he met his father for the first time the year prior to them being on the show, but didn't really get and grasp what was going on. Josiah has also said he doesn't even want to talk to his biological father. So Ralph encourages Drew to try to build a relationship between the two of them, because he was adopted as well, and he didn't really have a relationship with his father growing up. Was he adopted too? Maybe I'm misspeaking on that. I don't know. I just know his daddy went in his life. So they go to talk to Josiah, and they refer to his biological father as old daddy. That shit cracks me up. So she asked Josiah would he want to talk to him, and Josiah was like, I don't know. So Drew was like, would you like him to apologize to you or call you more? And Josiah was like, no. Ralph was like, do you want to get to know him? And Josiah was like, no. Drew says, you have 2 men you can call, dad. Like, that's a great thing. And Josiah was like, girl, I'm tired. Like, Josiah was like, I'm not here for this shit, girl. Get out my face. So Drew was like, would you like to talk to him? And Josiah was like, no. Like, how many times I got to tell you this shit? Bitch, is your hard to hear it? It's like, is your wig too tight, girl? So Ralph was like, I want you to know where you came from. I didn't have my dad around all the time, but I love him. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a good thing. We're going to have fun. And Josiah was like, well, in the future, maybe it will be a maybe. But right now, no. So Josiah stood on that, and you have to respect the child at this point, because at this point, it ain't about the daddy. It's about the child. Like, you don't really get a say so at this point of you can just come and be in his life. If he don't want to fool with you at this point, he don't have to, because you made this bed. Now you have to lie in it. So it's the night of the Halloween party at Fallyn's house, and she has a haunted house set up and everything. Cynthia arrives first. She's a hand sanitizer. Candy is a cheetah. Fallyn is Medusa. Shamia is an astronaut. Kenya is a Native American. And I was like, why in the hell would you come as a Native American person. Like, why, Kenya? Why? Like, you fucking know better. Like, there is no fucking excuse. You know people are going to have a problem with it and an issue with it. You know, cultural appropriation. Like, why would you do that? That is so fucking stupid. So whatever you got today on social media, you fucking deserve it, because that was a dumbass idea to fucking come as that fucking costume. Like, that was fucking stupid as shit. Drew is a lion. Toya is a dead mermaid. So Drew realizes that she always talks about Kenya in her confessionals. And I was like, yeah, bitch, you think? Like, are you obsessed much? Kenya tells them Marlo isn't gonna make it, and Candy, her confession was like, so Kenya is the contact person for Marlo now? Like, she is shocked that like, she Marlo mouthpiece now. Like, when y'all become so cool? Like, what is going on here? So Toya asks for something to drink, and mind you, Fallyn has, you know, some little foods out and everything set up in the kitchen on the countertops. Everybody has been getting things for themselves. Toya automatically comes in on 1,000. Like, she wasn't on 10 or 100. She was on 1,000, 1 million. Like, she came in just on one. She didn't seem drunk to me. She seemed like she was high. That's what she seemed like. I'm like, not on weed neither. I'm like, girl, was you on coke? Like, what is going on with her? Like, she just came in like on a whole nother level. So she asked her for something to drink, and then says, this is a beautiful house, by the way. This is what dating a 65-year-old does. Put me on, honey. And Fallyn looked at her like, really, bitch? Like, I know the fuck you didn't, because it's the second time she done said something slick about her husband. But Fallyn was holding her tongue and didn't say nothing back. So then Toya was like, there's no maid here that can, like, help a sister out. And Fallyn was like, no, you can help yourself. It's right there. Like, bitch. So Toya was like, no, somebody needs to serve me. Service, where's the maid? And I was like, this bitch is high. Like, she is high off the white girl. Like, what is going on with her? Like, everybody looking at her like, bitch, what? We don't want nothing that you done sniffed. So Fallyn was like, I'll get it for you, babe. Like, she's still trying to be nice, but then she was like, rich people don't talk like that. Only broke people do. And I was like, ooh. And ooh. So Toya was like, listen, she's from the hood herself. She just came up. And I was like, well, the same could be said about you just coming up off YouTube. So Candy in her confession was like, Toya is tripping. This is the first time she came at Fallyn. Serve yourself like the rest of us did. Toya says, I love how me and Drew have this like love-hate relationship. After we left Shamia's house, she came back to my house. And everybody is shocked by this. Like, you went back to her house. And Drew goes on to explain how drunk Toya got at Shamia's house, and she had a driver, and there was no way she was going to let her, you know, drive in that state, which was, you know, very admirable for her to do. So Toya says, Kenya, you haven't texted me. Do you have a new boo? Because I'll move on if that's the case. And Kenya was like, you already moved on in Charleston. So then Kenya asks to speak to her privately. They go outside on the balcony or whatever, or the deck, wherever they was at. And Kenya was like, I'm not happy with you right now. And Toya was like, you're always unhappy with me. Kenya says, when I told you what was going on with my husband, why would you take it to the girls that don't like me? Facts. Toya says, I felt like at that moment I needed to defend you and protect you because they tried to make you look like a terrible person. Girl. Like, others have tried to play this game that Toya is playing, where she comes in, she stirs the pot, and then she wants to lie to everyone about the shit that she's done. And it doesn't play out well. Everybody that has done that is no longer on the show. You're not going to last playing that stupid ass game. You're not even keeping it 100. Like, you just being messy for no reason. You're lying for no reason, and you look stupid. This is not a way for you to keep a spot on the show. I doubt now, seriously, unless they just want to keep with the mess, that she'll even be asked back next season, because you look stupid sitting up here lying when there's footage showing that nobody had even said nothing slick about Kenya. You just came out of nowhere telling her fucking business. So, like, what are you doing? Like, you look dumb. So then she says, I don't know what you did to Portia, but it puts me in a weird position. She's a cool person, but my loyalty is with you. And it's like, what? Like, is she trying to make them argue or something? Like, are the producers telling her to do this? Like, what is going on? So Kim was like, it's not with me. And Toya was like, it is with you, Kenya. And Kenya was like, don't raise your voice at me. I hate that shit. So Toya was like, that's how I speak. So then she starts to singing and shit, just acting weird. So in the house, Portia arrives, and I literally wrote in my notes, looking like a sexy party city cat. And literally in her confessional, she said that she got her outfit from Party City. And I was like, well, I was right. So Toya was like, I was tipsy, baby. I was tipsy, babe. And Kenya was like, I'm focused on that. I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on the fact that I can't trust you. Toya was like, I brought up something Candy mentioned. I thought it was out in the open, so I brought it up. First of all, now you see she trying to blame everything on Candy and act like Candy did something. Act like Candy was the one out here telling her business. She knew damn well that it wasn't nothing out in the open. She was like, you're going through a hard time right now. And Kenya was like, that makes it seem like it's an excuse for Kenya's behavior. I have done nothing to those bitches. They fucked the stripper. It's crazy that I'm sitting here and have to defend, and you had to defend me to some fucking tramps. You know how dumb that sounds? And Toya started laughing. She was like, I can't take you seriously with that on. And Kenya gets pissed off. She's like, I'm done. Like, I ain't got time to be playing with you and have you playing in my face, girl. So Kenya walks away, and Toya was like, Kenya, come back, come back. So Portia says, you know, what is Toya's costume? And Fallyn was like, she looked like a broke ass mermaid. She gonna come in my house and say, this is what a 65-year-old do for you. Well, to be honest with you, it's the truth. Wrong time, wrong place, your marriage. But this is what a 65-year-old did for you. I know that she's supposed to be like a businesswoman or whatever the case may be, but you know, just say what it is. Like, this is great. My husband take care of me. You mad? So Portia was like, but she just joking, and Fallyn was like, it don't matter. You don't come in somebody else's house and say that. Agreed. So Kenya and Toya return, and Toya hugs Portia, and Kenya looking like, really, bitch? So Portia, her confessional says, Kenya is a Native American. I knew the girl was whack, but like, oh my God. So Toya was like, I'm gonna go. So Kenya, she was like, Kenya, walk me out. And Kenya was like, no, Portia, said she'll walk you out. Like, let her go and take you. So like, Kenya was like, just not here for her ass. So they go outside, and Toya tells Portia she's upset for bringing up her situation with Mark. And Portia was like, well, we knew she would be like, you ain't had no business telling us that girl business, like you was being messy as hell. So Toya was like, I feel like I have to choose sides because you two have an issue. What is the root of it? What is the root? So Portia was like, the moment you told us her business had nothing to do with me, you just came out of nowhere. And Toya was like, I feel like I was defending my friend. And Portia's like, well, nobody attacking your friend. Even Portia, the slowest bitch on the show, smart in this conversation. She looking at her like, what the fuck are you talking about? So Portia was like, no, Toya says the underlying issues we kissed, and she's upset. Like, this girl just saying anything. So Kenya asks Fallyn to escort her out because she's ready to leave. Drew in her confessional says, what kind of party is this? All we did is sit around. Like, it really was whack. So Portia was like, I feel like this is going to drive a wedge, and we could be cool, but like, you basically like, you tripping. Like, what are you on? So Fallyn, Kenya, and Cynthia come outside, and Toya goes to leave. And Fallyn say, where you going? And Toya says, I feel like the energy is off, babe. And Fallyn was like, because you came in my house talking about my husband. And Toya was like, okay, all right, see ya. And so she gets up, and Fallyn was like, walk away. That's what poor people do. And Toya was like, this ain't your property, hoe. And I was like, is she trying to say this is her husband's house and not hers? Or is she trying to say they're renting? What is going on with this? So Fallyn was like, before I was 31, I gave birth to 3 boys. I didn't really know where she was going with that, but okay. And Toya was like, by 3 baby daddies? So I was like, oh, she got 3 baby daddies? Oh, okay, what's going on with that? Need to know more. Kenya and her confession was like, Toya showing her ass. And I was like, she sure in the fuck is. This bitch is high off that coca-lina. Coca. So, Toya says, keep it in your mouth, bitch. Trying to get it up all night with them bags under your eyes, hoe. Like, what is she talking about? So Fallyn says, who you talking to, Trini? And then next thing we know, Fallyn trying to get at Toya. Producers are holding her back. Next thing we see, Fallyn running with no shoes past the girls in the kitchen. That run was so funny. Cause she was running fast, but it was like more of a scoot run. It wasn't like a sprint run. It was more of like a scoot run. So everybody looking like, what the fuck is going on? So next thing we know, we see Fallyn trying to grab one of her husband's golf clubs. We see the producers trying to hold her back. Her husband grabbing her. She like, get the fuck off of me. Get the fuck off me. She all irate and shit. And I'm like, girl, all because of what this drunk pussy hoe said, girl, calm down. You too pretty for all this foolishness. So Fallon's husband take her upstairs. She all disheveled with the Medusa shit on and going up the steps like this. And I'm like, girl. So everybody was like, oh yeah, it's time to go. Like, we shouldn't be here. So Cynthia tells the girl, Toya said something about her husband, and Drew was like, she did the same thing to me in North Carolina. I was trying to tell y'all. And the girls leave. Child, it was a mess. Toya, I just want to know what you was getting high on. I want some. Girl, I would never do drugs. Say no to drugs, kids. I won the Durham Medal Award when I was in the 5th grade, by the way. Anywho, so yeah, that was tonight's review on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Overall, I give tonight's episode a B+. It was cute. It was cute for what it was. Ready to see what goes down in New Orleans. Ready to see how Portia and Marlo end up falling out. That's very interesting to me. Yeah, Toya is making an ass of herself. So that's that. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next review. Bye.